Hello again from my front porch, or more specifically, the back of my front porch. See, this is my backyard here. And you notice this haze over here in the sky over here? Yeah, that's not because it's humid, although actually, honestly, it is kind of humid. The temperature is down. It's not as hot today as it's been, but whew, the humidity, yeah, it still makes you sweat a bit. But this haze back here, this is all over the Midwest and Plain states. That's residual smoke from those Canadian wildfires going on right now. And I want to talk about those and about the impact they're having, the broad scope, and how dramatic all of that is for Canada and other parts of not just the United States, but the world. And so we're going to chat about that. But it occurred to me that this also is a good context for me to consider. I've got this big tree here, and it's always dropping tree branches and stuff. And I've got some branches laying over here and some yard waste and stuff that I've been looking for the right time to actually put on my burn pile down there across the creek and burn it. And this seems like a good time to do that too, because well, with all that smoke already in the air, who's going to notice a little more smoke from me? And they say that the smoke is going to be dissipating fairly soon. The winds are going to do that, and so why not just burn my stuff and get my smoke added up into it, and then it can all dissipate together. So with that, yeah, I'm going to load up my stuff and haul it down there, and we'll get to burning and get to talking about the Canadian wildfires. All right, well, everything is all piled up now. Let's go start some smoke. See, I got my green fire starter here. Whoa, hello. Whew. Yeah, yeah, it's going good now. My green fire starter, my green chair, because I like green a lot, and now my not green Diet Coke. Gonna take a little liquid refreshment. Now, I did say, whoop, I did say that I wanted to talk about the Canadian wildfires because, this gives us a kind of visual display of the Canadian wildfires here. So I've got here on my other cell phone, I've got some information about the Canadian wildfires. I got to put my spectacles on to read it though. So I put together some interesting information that if you've been reading up on the wildfires, you may have read about some of the stuff. If not, well, this will be news to you. But the wildfires going on right now up in Canada. Most of it's coming from the eastern provinces like Quebec, Ontario, and Nova Scotia, which have been hit particularly hard this year by large and uncontrollable blazes. As of the end of June, we're into July now, but my data I found was to the end of June. As to the end of June, there were 480 active fires across the country of Canada, with 251 of those out of control and only 152 of them considered under control. Obviously, those numbers change frequently, and I would hope that now the out of control number by this point has gone down further, but we don't know. In late June, the smoke plume, we were talking about the haze in the sky coming from the fires in Canada. In late June, the smoke plume from the Canadian wildfires stretched as far as Europe, all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. That's how much smoke was being generated. The Canadian wildfire smoke continues to plague here in the United States. It has triggered air quality alerts in at least 11 states across the Northern Plains, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes region. Just today, here, Sunday, today, here in Iowa, again, we've got all of the smoke. I showed you the haze in the air. Now, winds will continue to push the smoke eastward eventually clearing skies here in the Midwest as early as maybe sometime tomorrow on Monday. But that brings the smoky haze more to the northeastern United States early in the week. So those of you more to the east, in the upper east especially in the United States, watch out. This smoke is coming your way. Now, that's what's going on. So where did this come from? How did this happen? The plume was birthed from more than 400 fires ignited in Canada's province of British Columbia just in the past week alone. Nearly half of which were started, you ready for this? Was this careless campers? Was what? Nearly half of the fires were started by 51,000 lightning strikes from thunderstorms. Yeah, total natural causes, but amazing thunderstorms. British Columbia has had more than 1,000 fires start since April. Those fires have already burned through nearly 3 times the amount of land compared to an average year in British Columbia over the last 10 years. So these fires, not only are they out of control, but they are massive and they're bigger than they're used to. The Canadian Interagency Fire Center has recorded 3,056 wildfires since the beginning of 2023. Now, obviously, some of them are small and taking a lot of small and taken care of right away, but that's amazing. So, the fires have scorched around 20 million acres of land across Canada just this year alone, and we're only halfway into the year. So you really think about it. You know, that smoke that's coming from Canada, it's cumbersome, it's troublesome for those who have breathing issues, like my dad, like my girlfriend, like they have air quality issues. Both of them are at least borderline asthmatic, and people who are full-on asthmatic, you know, it's a big issue for them. But it could be an even bigger issue for the poor folks up in Canada. Because when you think about just how much damage is being done by this, when you think of the impacts of that, and that this smoke plume is reaching all the way to Europe, you know. Now it reminds me of the, and I feel like I'm kind of, I'm just sweating like crazy now. I know it's because of the heat from the fire. I didn't think this part out real well. I should have a towel here, or at least a hat on. But you think about, you know, the historians or archaeologists tell us that in the past there have been different times where massive volcanic eruptions or big meteorite hits the earth and it kicks up a bunch of debris. You think about those kind of things. If those things have happened, and I'm not saying they haven't. I wasn't there. Some of it is theory. Some of it we can see the craters, for example, but we don't know for sure when that happened or what the total impact was. Anyway, the point being, if you had that kind of dust up, that kind of massive thing happen, it is easy to see how that could become a global significant event when you just have wildfires in Canada, and it's having international implication of just that. You think about then also issues of nuclear war and the nuclear holocaust, that not just who's bombed or who is affected by the radiation, but then what that creates in the sky, the nuclear cloud, that cover, and if there's multiple of those bombs going off, it'd be very easy. There are some predictions that say, that said back when we were doing the Cold War between the United States and Russia, that if the countries went to war and actually shot those at each other, yeah, there'd be damage by the whoever, wherever the targets were at, but the whole world would suffer. The whole world might be the end of humanity as we know it, because it would create this covering over the planet that would prevent sunlight from getting through, that would cause breathing issues, that would suffocate, that would kill off the plants, kill off animals, kill off people, and so our planet is a very delicate, balanced ecosystem, and when we mess with it, then we have problems. Well, looks like my fire is doing good on its own. The leaves that were there, that was the big plume of fire you saw at the beginning, and the big chunk of smoke. Now we're down to the actual sticks, the tree limbs and stuff. And so that stuff is going to burn for a while longer. It won't kick up quite as much smoke as the leaves did, which is good. But so I've contributed to the smoke canopy a little, just a little, certainly by comparison to what is coming out of Canada. But still, I'm not trying to make light of what's happening in Canada. I think it is important as these things are affecting us that we are aware of the fact of the details of it, but we're also aware of the fact that things that happen outside of our country can have pretty dramatic impact on us right here in our country. We cannot live in total isolation from the rest of the world, because if we do that, we run the risk of, in this case, like the fires in Canada, being at the mercy of other countries in the world. And so, environmental things, energy things, financial things, manufacturing things, you name it, whatever the category is, if we're not an engaged world player, then that can be a problem. Anyway, I'm going to go back to, well, I don't know. I'm going to go back to sipping some more soda, and I might move my chair even a little farther away. The heat is not as intense now, but whew, man, I am still, I am still drenched. So with that, I'm going to see you all next time. Well, let me wipe the sweat on my eyes so I can see you. I'll see you all next time from my front porch.